the world map but made out of famous Cuberzz. So in this video, I'll be replacing countries with famous Cuberzz from that country. Starting off with America, I decided to go with Max Park. Max Park is the current 2x3 world record average holder and holds pretty much all of the big cube world records as well. He's a really great cuber and is probably the most famous cuber from the United States. So for Alaska, I decided to make it a different cuber and I settled on Patrick Ponce, former 2x3 world record holder and current NAR single holder of 4.24 seconds. Next up, we have Canada, and the most famous cuber from Canada is probably JPerm, the YouTuber with 700,000 subscribers. I wasn't sure if I should use the logo or the face for this map, but I decided to go for the logo. Because of Canada's weird shape, if I used his face would be really broken up into bits and pieces and it would look really weird, so I decided to go for his logo instead. Next up, South America. I did a bit of research and decided to go for this cuber from Brazil. He's the former square one world record holder and I don't really know how to pronounce these names, so instead of just messing up the pronunciation, I'll just put it up on screen for you guys to read. And I decided to go for this cube in Argentina who held multiple continental records. Next up, I ran with Peru and I ran with Juan Pablo, who's the greatest Megaminx solver and the world record holder for both the single and average in Megaminx. As for Greenland, the largest island in the world, technically this is part of Denmark, so I went to look for Denmark cubers and I settled on Martin. He's a really good 2x2 solver. He used to hold the 2x2 world record average and is a really good all-around cuber. Next up, China, one of the largest countries in the world, and this was a pretty obvious choice. I obviously went with Xu Ruihang, the former 3x3 world record holder of 5.48 seconds. Next up, Australia, and the most iconic cuber of all time, Felix Zemdex. Obviously, I had to include him. I mean, he's probably the goat of cubing, and I put him under Australia. Next, I was struggling a little bit to think of who to put for India, and after a little bit of fiddling around in the WCA website, I couldn't find anybody that really stood out, so I decided to just go for Ramtekar, my friend. He's a really good 2x2 solver, and he's quite well known throughout the YouTube community, collaborating with people like Tingman and Cupid. Philippines was another easy choice. I obviously went with Leo Borromeo. He's one of the best 2x2 solvers in the world, but because Philippines was like a group of islands, when I put his face in it, it looked really weird, so I thought I'd just make it an oval shaped instead so that it looked better. I noticed that I hadn't really done anyone in Europe, so I started off with Timon Kolaczynski from Poland, and then I moved on to Germany where I went with Sebastian Weyer. I could have done Philip Weyer as well, but I chose Sebastian because he holds the 4x4 world records. For Ireland, I went with Kieran Bian, who's a really good big cube solver. And then for France, I ran with Juliette Sebastian, who I think is the female world record holder and one of the best cubers in the world for 3x3. And for the last country, I chose the Netherlands and went with Mats Valk. Pretty much everyone in the cubing community knows who Mats Valk is. He has been a really good cuber for a very long time. But before I finish it off, there was one thing I had to add, and that was in this really small country called Singapore, where the video you're watching is currently being made, and I just shouted my logo right on top of there. I'm not really famous or anything, but I didn't really know who else to put. And this is the final result. I changed the ocean to blue, but unfortunately that made Max Park and JPerm's logo look a little bit weird, but I'll probably change those in my next video. So just a summary, in America we have Patrick Ponce and Max Park, and then for Canada we have JPerm, for Greenland, Denmark we have Martin, and then for South America we have Vincenzo from Brazil, and then Argentina, Peru, and then over here in Europe we have Kieran Bihan for Ireland, and then Mats Valk for Netherlands, France, Germany, Poland, and then over here in Asia we have Xu Ruihang, Ramtekar, and then this cheeky little logo down here, and then Leo Borromeo. And down here in Australia, we have Felix Zemdex. I noticed that I hadn't done any of Africa in this video, so I added Hessa Cuba from Nigeria. He's a really good YouTuber and you guys should definitely check his videos out. As you can see, I've made some pretty good progress, but obviously we still have a lot of countries to go. I mean, out of 197 countries, we've only done like, what, 20? So if you guys know any famous cubers from any countries that I haven't done yet, for example, Russia, I couldn't think of anyone from Russia, or like Kazakhstan or Saudi Arabia, I would really appreciate it if you guys leave it in the comments below so that I could add them to the map in next week's video. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.